Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's Brian and Jim here with Drink a Beer and Play a Game, and welcome to another episode of the Power Hour.
Yes, hello everybody. Welcome to episode 133. Thank you for joining us tonight. And speaking of joining us, we have a guest. We have a returning guest to the Power Hour. He's actually also made his return recently to YouTube. He's our good buddy. You know him. You love him. He is the one, Nerdy Nick, and he's with us today. Nick, how you doing, man?
I was hoping we were going to get some hick.
There you go. Yeah, I don't know if my neighbors like that too much, but fuck them.
Best Patreon promo in the game.
Jim, I'd say the best internet promo guy.
Oh.
Well, I had to center it around us first, Brian, because I'm very selfish. But besides that, yes, best overall.
How you been, Nick? How's the return to YouTube going for you?
Man, it's been pretty solid. The first video uploaded was like a huge success. Got over like 23 hours viewed total, awesome. Which is like, I don't know in terms of YouTube stats, like if that's good, that's bad, whatever. But to me, that was huge. That was the biggest viewing of any of my videos before. So awesome. I was kind of like, wow, people must have missed me.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah, man. Before we go on home, where can everyone find you? And we do have all the links below, but shout it out. Where should they find you, and what should they be looking for?
Right, yeah. So you can find me on YouTube, NerdyNick_91. All the other Nerdy Nick accounts suck. Mine's the best. And then you can find me on Instagram at BuffNerd and Twitter at BuffNerd and Instagram at NerdyNick91.
Nice. Now wait, Nick.
Yeah.
Do you work out?
Oh, a little bit. A little bit. You know, I do like 5 push-ups every day. That's about it,
yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's all you need.
Yeah. Oh, is that my phone? Sorry.
Nah, it's all good. So,
oh, yeah, and then YouTube. I already said YouTube. Fuck.
No, do it again. Keep pouring it.
Yeah. YouTube, OnlyFans, all that stuff.
So, Nick.
I'm just hearing about this OnlyFans now? It's the fuck?
Speaking of your YouTube, bud, so obviously you made the big announcement with the I'm Back video, and your last one was wrestling, as you said. What is going to be, do you think you'll have a main focus? Like, are you going to stick more to the wrestling or video games, or are you going to try to, like, get it out, like, once a week it's going to be this, or certain times a week? What's your thoughts there?
So, my whole thought process on this was, because it really did take a lot for me to come back, with everything that I've gone through and whatnot, which, I got to say, first and foremost, while we're talking about that, your guys' fans were, like, some of the best supporters for me, like, anytime in the comments or whatever on Twitter. They were just really solid people, very understanding, and a lot of them showed up in my comeback video, and they're very supportive people. So everyone listening to this podcast and that supports Drink a Beer, Play a Game, you guys are fucking champs. Cheers to the best hootin' hollerin', beer drinking, keg tapping, gym nut slapping, video game playing motherfuckers around. You guys are awesome. But yeah, my videos, I want to kind of just take a fuck it approach and just whatever I feel like doing, that's what I'm going to do. Now, like, there has to be some order to the chaos. So, it'll still be sticking around video games, wrestling, and whatnot. But I do want to start to sprinkle in some fitness as well, because, like, that's something I'm really good at, and that's something a lot of people know me for. I do want to get my hands crafty and start doing some cosplay as well. Again, I'm going to be All Might for Halloween. He's from an anime I watch, My Hero Academia. So that might be like the first little like tinkering video I'll do. We'll see. But yeah, like anything and everything, because I really liked James Rolfe's approach to their new podcast, the Center Massacre podcast, where he just wants to talk about whatever, and I like that, and that's what I kind of like streaming too, because like with streaming, it's just you and a crowd, so yeah, really just a bunch of mix of everything. I'll probably be a little more heavy on wrestling, just because wrestling it's a good time to be a wrestling fan right now. You get to watch like the modern day, Monday Night War, so to speak, and it's pretty entertaining.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, Nick, can I recommend? You should do something since you like the working out and you like the video games,
Mm-hmm.
do like this is the Rick workout from Splatterhouse to get like built like him, and then
Yeah.
do like a whole thing like to get built like Rick or something like
Yeah.
that, or Haggard from Final Fight, you know,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, that's something that I've actually, like I said in my last video for the wrestling at the end. I want to leave it up to the fans. Like, what do the people want to see? You know, I want people's input. Like, I want to look like Vegeta. So, okay, cool. I'll do a Vegeta workout video. You know, and I can wear like
Get on
my
your
Vegeta-
knees.
Yeah, I can wear my Vegeta gear in the gym, or you know, someone wants to work out and look like fucking Laura Croft. I'll fucking do a plyometrics video. You know, like whatever. It's not limited by gender by any means. So. Because I was a trainer for like 8 years and a nutritionist for a long time too.
Just don't ever take Jim's advice or comments.
I'm actually going to be asking Nick one of those personal trainer questions about bodies and nerve endings and stuff in a little bit.
What'd you do, Jim? What'd you fall on, or what'd you twist?
No. It's a foreshadowing for when I talk about too many games. So
Okay. Well, before we get there, Nick, I saw you sipping on something. So,
yeah.
what you got with you tonight?
So tonight I am drinking the 805 by Firestone Walker, but this one is their Mexican style lager. It's just called Cerveza. It's brewed with lime. It's pretty tasty. It's okay. It's really not like your Pacificos or even like a Corona. It's really just an 805 with lime
Gotcha.
flavor. Yeah, I
Nice.
don't even think it says what percent on here. Yeah, no percent. I'm
Nice.
guessing like a 4, maybe 5. Oh, 4.5. There we go.
Now, what you got, Chambers?
I am drinking from, you will know them from the Snyder's of Hanover Pretzel Company, the Snyder beer, the Pretzel Marzen, out of the Captain Lawrence Brewing Company. It is part of their Oktoberfest style and 5% alcohol.
That's PA, right?
Captain Lawrence. I have no idea where they're out of. Let me see here.
Almost positive that's PA.
Elmsford, New York.
I'm wrong.
So, almost positive you are wrong. So, a malt beverage with natural flavors,
Son of a
batch
fuck.
batch brewed with Snyder's of Hanover mini pretzels. So, yeah, very bright little colorful label they got going on there. Nice, nice brownish looking ale kind of deal. Pretty see-through. So far, to be honest with you, it just tastes like a beer. Like, there's nothing really like overly pretzely or overly salty or anything about it yet. It's a beer. Good.
It's not like biscuity or bready.
Nah, surprisingly not. So maybe a little on the bready side, but that's really about it.
After going through those 15 Oktoberfest beers, I like now understand those terms, because I was like, that's what this flavor is. I couldn't put my finger on.
Yeah, I'll definitely say it's a bready, or what do you call it, like a regular beer, but breadier. So
Yeah.
lighter Marzen.
So I am going with the Free Will Brewing Company Scarecrow Autumn Spiced Ale with vanilla, cinnamon, nutmeg, and allspice. This is their way, I think, of just saying it's a pumpkin beer, but it's not called a pumpkin beer. 5%, and I don't know what type of ale it is specifically, but it's pretty tasty. But it is like, it's only a little bit hazy, and it's very, very light. For only 5%, I mean, this shit goes down really smooth. So, Free Will is kind of local to us. They have a good tap house in New Hope. So,
Yep.
Yeah, it's not a bad place to try out some interesting beers.
Yeah, Free Roll is kind of like Cape May Brewing to me, where it's like everything there is solid, but nothing's amazing.
Yeah, that's a good way to think of it. So
Ringing
Jim,
endorsement.
now what I want to ask you is, speaking of drinking and events, I want to hear a little recap, because you and I, unfortunately, I was not able to go to too many games. My son had a fever. I was feeling like shit, and I didn't want to be the guy going there potentially bringing anything. Even if it's not COVID, I don't want to be bringing flu or whatever to everyone. So unfortunately, I was not able to go. Jim went, and I can always tell when the drunk Jim comes out how the texts come in and how they're written, and then eventually they stop, and it stopped kind of early. So I was like, all right, he's either already fucked up, passed out somewhere, or puked, or something. So,
Brian, you know me so
Jim.
well.
I want to hear how did it turn out, Jim, and what was the drink of choice, and lay out the scenery, Jim.
All right, Brian. So, as we always do, I roomed with Dan from Console Wars. So unfortunately, Pat wasn't able to make it the first day. He might have made it Saturday, but I'm not entirely sure. But so yeah, it was just me and Dan. So as we do when we attend together, we started to do a drinking game. So we whipped out a deck of cards, and we're all dads here. So, you know, with little kids, you know how they have the matching animals games?
Yeah.
Flip it over, put them all out there. You know, oh, I made a pair, put it over here, blah, 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 blah. So we did that with cards. So we started doing that. So each game went the exact same way. Oh, we also did stacked rules, too. So if you flipped it, you got it right, the other person had to take 2 sips. But if you got it wrong, you had to take a sip. But if you got a couple in a row, you started to stack and double the amount. So, like, at one fucking point, Dan did, like, 6, so I had to take, like, 12 sips in a row. Shit like that. So, we were starting with Coors Light, because I brought the beer. I was like, look, we need to keep it light, because I can't be passing out by fucking 8 o'clock again. This time I made it probably 9. But, so we played that. Each game went the same. I got the first match, I closed out each game, and Dan beat me each game with the exact same score by beating me by 1 pair. So 28 cards to 24 cards. So of course you had to chug a whole beer when you lost too. So by the time we're leaving the room, I was about 8 to 10 beers in already, something like that. So that's, you know, over the course of maybe an hour, hour and a half. So
Was he lazy eye out by that point?
Probably. Not gonna say it wasn't, but I'm gonna say there's a good chance it probably was. So we get down to the floor and we immediately meet up with Michelle from PD's Power Hour. Because we've been talking about definitely hanging out with her. So we meet up with her. We go over to the Premium Edition booth where they were doing a little presentation. So met those guys quick. They were super nice. I actually don't have it with me here, but the only game I bought the entire time, Super Blood Hockey, off them. Got like the second to last one that they had. So they published a physical of that. So we also, along the line, met up with Snarkast and Blade Blur for a while. James Reimer, and then basically what we did with the entire time was we didn't look at any tables for the most part. We just kept going back to the bar. Going back to the bar, meeting people, going back to the bar, meeting people. So I eventually met up with the people from like Geek Studios and Discard Guy and, you know, a couple intruders on the floor. And then, you know, towards the end of the floor, even at that point, memory starts to go a little bit for me. So, like we did last time, so this is maybe 7 o'clock. Fuck, it was 7:30. So, like we did last time, we actually met up with, Adam Square Painter, and we went in his room, party for a little bit. So so he was playing the next day with Rex Viper. So Dan's also fucking hammered. So he sees his bass, he's like, "Oh, let me see that bass," and he's just like, you know, plucking away on it. All of a sudden, drops. The fucking strap came off.
Oh fuck!
And you could just see that look of dread. No, it was fine.
Oh, thank God.
So, but you could just see that look of dread in his eyes.
Yeah, you said it was like, yeah, they were performing the very next night.
Yeah. So, I mean, Adam was, as far as I can remember, he was like, you know, pretty cool about it. He's like, it's all right, it's fine. But, you know, Dan was like, you know, drunk apologetic. And, you know, speaking of Cinemaster podcast, Kieran was there, and I was probably being an annoying drunk guy with him, but he was just super nice and playing along. So I feel like I have to apologize to any, like, actual YouTuber that I saw and was excited to see, because I was probably just annoying drunk guy going, blah, 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 blah. And then being like,
they were probably
fuck.
more disturbed. They're like, why are your hand down your pants the whole time, Jim?
Yeah, well, each time it wouldn't have taken that long, so that would have been the least of their problems.
So, Jim, wait, hold on. Rewind for a second. So, when you guys were hitting up the bar, did you stick to beer, or did you start going over into shots and mixed drinks?
No. So, we were doing beer the entire time when we were on the convention floor. Okay. And then when we get back to Adams, I think we were sticking with beer. Not entirely sure. And then I do vaguely remember going from his place over to the Screenwave after party, where Dan was doing the karaoke and stuff like that. And I know Michelle drove us over there. And before we went in, we started like, because she brought wine for us to try and convince us wine's great. So we just started fucking downing wine out of the trunk of her car.
Oh God.
So all I remember is, this is when it really turns into time travel. So all I remember is basically going in there for a little bit. Dan starting to go up there. They had a food tray. I wrecked the shit out of that. And I think I talked to a few more people. Like, I think I briefly saw Tony from Hack the Movies and 8-Bit Eric. And then after that point, the only things I remember are a couple random people waking me up throughout the course of the night, because I'm just passed out at like a bench asking if I'm okay.
So this is in the convention area?
Not the convention area, but the after party. So it was in like a hall, you know, a hall that a lot of these hotels will have. So I somehow wind up in 3 different spots with some random person asking me if I'm okay. And I'm just going, well, I'm just tired. So as I'm passed out. And then the next thing I remember is it's about 4 a.m. We're back at the hotel somehow. So we're back at the hotel. I'm hugging the toilet. My pants are down, like half down my pants. So I'm bare ass on the floor, puking away. While poor fucking Dan is taking a piss in the tub because I won't move off the goddamn toilet.
Oh.
So yeah,
Jim.
come the next morning, what do you call it? We find out like Michelle drove us home. Somehow they were able to find me, I guess, because I had a couple texts from her going, "Where the fuck are you?" So also, I guess at some point during them picking me up, I called an Uber that I of course didn't go to. So that's $30 down the drain. And yeah, then I did a golf outing the next day, extremely hungover. So that was a delight. So yes. Successful Too Many Games 2021, where I bought exactly 1 game. Actually, from what I hear, like the prices at the tables this year were like insane. Like you had to really fucking search to find any kind of deal for something that wasn't like insanely overpriced. Like I saw from a bunch of people that like eBay at this point was way cheaper than the floor of Too Many Games, which is disappointing to hear. But
That sucks. Because
Yeah.
like conventions is where like I get most of my finds.
that's what you think. That's what you hope
Yeah.
for. So apparently there was some to be found because Brian was like, if you see some horror games, pick some up and I'll Venmo you. And I was like, yeah, sure. And then I'm fucking destroyed by the time I even get there, so I wasn't looking anyway. But yeah, it doesn't sound like I missed out on too much, but yes. So yeah, to anyone I was an annoying drunk guy to, I do apologize. I did the dreaded check social media the next day, and there was nothing to be seen. So I was like, all right, I guess it wasn't that bad. But
Jim, I will say I think we definitely need to have both Dan and Michelle to tell their side of the story of dealing with Jim, because
we definitely do.
Because the other Too Many Games, like I was our face being out, being able to talk with people while you were just gone, so nobody had to deal with you. Now people get to see what it's like to deal with drunk Jim.
Yep.
Poor Dan had to see the sight I saw way too many times.
Yep. Yeah.
Pantsless Jim, puking.
Yeah, we were joking about it the next morning. It's like, hey, at least, I'm the only person who had to see that, so, it could be worse for you. I was like, yeah, it's true. He was like, yeah, we just lost you for a while. We didn't know where the fuck you went. I was like, sounds about right for me. But at least I was still within the same general area, I guess.
So I got a question. You were talking about like drinking on the floor? Like they let you have beer at the convention?
Oh, yeah, like they have, what do you call it, like a food stand, and they sell beer out of there, so.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. So... yeah, we made a beeline for that right after the like I said, after the premium edition thing, because Dan works with the guys at Premium Edition, so he does editing for their trailers and does some music for them. So
now, how was the convention? Like, I didn't see a ton of was there a decent turnout?
oh no, it was pretty packed, and I mean like for a Friday, like that's the first day, but like there was definitely a big ass crowd there, like with everything opening up, I guess everyone was just ready to be back out in the world and crap like that.
Yeah, sure.
I guess the good side of everyone, or mostly everyone being in masks or having masked, is I didn't get like a mean case of con crud or anything, so at least have that going for me, besides the fucking hangover. But, even gave myself a little self-home COVID test just to be sure, and, came back negative.
Jim, how mad was the wife the next day for how drunk you were?
She really wasn't, because she was more concerned about me being home on time. Like, she was just like, the day before, she was like, you better be fucking home on time. And I was like, I'll be home on time. She's like, no, you need to be home on time so we can get to this thing. So, because, yeah, and like on the way over there, the drive home from the convention was a little sketchy. The drive to the golf outing was, wasn't one of my easiest, but by the time we actually got out on the links, I was like mostly recovered. So,
nice. Yeah, so that is a good Jim story. We will definitely have Dan and Michelle on to talk more about that. But once again, sorry I could not make it. I was very sad I couldn't. So let's put it that way.
Yep. Yeah, you missed out. Brian, I needed my babysitter. Where were you? Fucking left me.
Great. Any chance we have of some of these random people actually coming and talking to us? They're like, I'm not
I'm
talking to drink a beer. Fuck those guys.
I'm sure I burned some bridges but not knowing it. I'm fucking... Like I said, I apologize to anyone. I hopefully I was just annoying and not obnoxious. So
Kieran now has a restraining order against you.
Probably. That poor fucking guy. I do know that Kieran, I was like trying to be like, what do you call it? Yeah, I know you ever play, so if you ever have a problem, like with the fucking, because I work in the sewer business, so I was like, if you ever have backup, give me a call, save you fucking money before you call a plumber. So
Oh, Jim,
I
I
was doing
saw
that
those
shit.
tweets. Once I saw your tweets and you're tweeting out to random people, I was like, oh, he's gone.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because I saw that tweet to Kieran, I was like, ah, fuck, I was that guy. Shit. So yeah, so I still have that feeling in the back of my head, like I know I must have done something, but I just haven't seen it yet. So I still have that little bit of dread.
Jim, are you pregnant?
Maybe.
Is that why your pants were down?
Maybe.
Will a Super Sega Kid come out of you?
Oh, I can only hope. But yeah, so another eventful Too Many Games 2021. So
Nice.
Were you wearing a drink a beer, play a shirt, or play a game shirt?
no, I should have. I fucking
No, you played it safe.
no, I did. Yeah, you know what? That probably is a
Yeah,
thing.
best case. Yeah, now they don't even know who you were. That's
Yeah, they
best
just
case.
think some drunk slob in an N64 T-shirt was just passed out somewhere, making an ass of himself.
And that's what you would expect from anyone in an N64 shirt. I mean, come on, let's be honest.
Yeah, you know, we have it a little rough, so we got
It's a
to cope
subpar
in our own
console.
ways. Yeah.
So yeah, Nick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait till at some point for some other convention you come down. We can all tear it up together, and you can see all this for yourself.
Yeah, man. I mean, I was literally this close to going to Too Many Games. You know, I talked to Justin Silverman from Cinemassacre, you know, or buds and whatnot, and he had a pass for me to go. It was just kind of like too short notice in a way, you know, for flights to make it work and, you know, be financially reasonable. So next time for sure. And then the girlfriend's family lives in Philly, so definitely a excuse to go out, you know, like, yeah, I'll go to the family reunion.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But yeah, just a quick wrap. I do have to say, like, everyone that I did wind up talking to and remember talking to, they're all like super nice, as friendly as can be. So, especially for dealing with me. So yeah, it's just like an awesome vibe in general for the most part.
Nice. So, Nick, let me ask you something. Now that you have the YouTube thing going, I know you're working. Do you have any time? What have you been able to actually play and enjoy these past couple weeks?
Right. So, I am. Let's see. I like to juggle games. I'm kind of like ADHD when it comes to like picking a game. You know, it almost gives me anxiety, just like staring at my cases or the shelves. I'm like, fuck, I don't know. So like, I broke it down like this. When I'm on the toilet, I play Enter the Gungeon
Okay.
on my Switch.
Nice.
Yeah. And then when I feel like playing my PS4, I pop in Doom Eternal, and I'm working on the DLC for that. And
Nice. The old gods, right?
Ancient Gods, yeah.
Ancient god, yeah.
Yeah. And of course, you know, I'm a masochist, and I play it on the hardest difficulty, and then get really pissed off that I keep dying. You know, and of course, they make the DLC even more difficult than the actual game itself, you know? So there's that. But I just recently picked up a Xbox Series S. So
Oh, you nice. How is that working? Because that's the one that just streams everything, right?
right, yeah, it's the digital one.
Gotcha.
I'm a physical collector through and through, but it's been almost like a year since these consoles have launched, and I have had no luck getting a PS5, Xbox Series X,
Same.
and whatnot. So when I saw that like my local Target had 3 left of the digital, I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'll get this for now, and then when PS5's the disc version becomes available, I'll go ahead and do that, because at least with Xbox there's Game Pass and whatnot. You know, which is what I've been using, Game Pass Ultimate. So yeah, like on my Xbox I've been playing Splitgate. I don't know if you guys have heard of
Okay.
that. It's like a
Yeah.
No, what's that?
yeah, it's a free to play arena shooter. It takes like everything great from like Halo's heyday of multiplayer online, but integrates Portal play.
Yep.
So it's an arena shooter mixed with Halo and Portal, and you get Splitgate. It's really fun. It's like I said, it's free to play. They're on like season 0 right now, is what they're calling it, because it's a pretty brand new game. So I've been playing that. I have Back for Blood pre-downloaded right now because it's day 1 on Game Pass.
When's does that comes out this week, right?
Yeah, it comes out tomorrow or tonight. Yeah. So that's ready to go. I plan to do the same with like Halo Infinite. But yeah, I've been playing. I beat Streets of Rage 4. That's a fucking fun game. What else have I been playing? Unfortunately, I haven't really been playing much retro lately. Just because, like, my new TV, I have like a 70-inch TCL, blah, 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 blah. And there's like no component hookups or anything like that. I have the converter, but like the difficulty of pulling the TV out and then, setting it all up and then unplugging and plugging. I don't know how James Rolfe does that shit like all the time because I get annoyed by it. But yeah, just been playing, like I'm a big pickup and I want to be able to pick up the controller and play within like 1 minute. And if I can't do that, then, that game's probably going to be tossed to the side.
Oh, I know the pain there. What do you call it? I have an army of AV splitters on the side here, all going into my retro thing. So
yeah, and I'm gonna.
That's basically what you're down to at this point. If you want to have your retro like somewhat easy to get to, and then fucking label everything and be like, oh, fucking third splitter number 4. Oh, that's the Dreamcast. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So, yeah, I've just been really enjoying Game Pass Ultimate. Just
it is great. Yeah.
Browsing through all the selection, downloading random-ass games like Battletoads is pretty fun on there, too.
Yeah. I've had that downloaded for like a year. I still need to fucking get around to playing that.
It's pretty fun.
No, Game Pass has shown, like, that is where I can have faith in, like, if there is a service-based, just digital, the selection there is friggin'... They have plenty of AAA amazing games, a lot of hidden gems, and then just some random indies that you're like, okay, what the fuck is this? Yeah. But I love that. Yeah, like from a service standpoint, PlayStation, and we don't even need to say Nintendo, it just doesn't compare.
Right. Like my daughter and I, she got super excited when I got it because it has, like Minecraft and all these other games. But there's one game in particular that her and I have been playing called Piku Niku. I don't know if you've heard of that. It's a puzzle platformer. And you basically, your characters look like Lolo. It's just like a ball with legs. Yeah. And it's a puzzle platformer, and her and I enjoy the crap out of it, and we've been playing a lot of that, and I'm learning how to play Minecraft, so that's interesting. I've never played it before, and there's a lot to that game.
Yeah, it's surprisingly deep. Yeah. What about you, Chambers? What have you been up to?
Haven't had a lot of time for gaming. It was basically just getting videos out last week and then occasionally sitting down with Hades and trying to do a little better.
How
Has
far
been going
have you
well
gotten,
in
Jim?
Now I get to like the second serpent boss still at this point, and then it's just like, oh, I fuck up and then I die. So, I'm actually getting to that problem with a lot of roguelikes now where, like, after so many tries and dying, like, I'm just sick of going through the early stages again. So then I start making dumb mistakes. And then, like, I just die quicker than I ever should, where then I just know, like, this run's not going to be good. So then I just try to farm as much, like, stuff as I can to go back there and try to get myself to another second chance fucking item and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Jim, legit question.
Yeah.
Have you ever beaten a roguelite?
I've beaten Death State. I never beat Binding of Isaac. I got the Mom, but I could never beat Mom in that. Okay. And then... I beat Death State like once or twice, and then a lot of other ones I don't think I have. So yeah, I haven't beaten Hades yet, though. That's for goddamn sure.
So here's my question: why do you keep playing them if you can't beat them?
It's like shmups. I think they're fun. It's the thought that I could get lucky and fuck up and do good one day. It's like when I golf. Every once in a while, I fuck up and I hit a nice drive.
Oh, jeepers.
That's how I am with Enter the Gungeon. Like, I get bored in the early stages, and then I end up, like, taking shots that I shouldn't, like, Yeah, I'm like, why did I get hit? Like, this is, like, the first minute of the game, but...
Well, the problem is all those games, they disguise themselves as, like, pick up and plays, but they're not because you got to be so focused. Like, Hades, when I finally beat that, I was like, oh, okay, like, you realize real quick, you need this, you need that, you need to have, like, the revives, like... you realize like, okay, I can beat this. I just need, but also in like you need a lucky run too. Like there is a huge aspect of luck as well, based on like god powers that are offered to you. So. Yeah, it's just very deceptive because I can pick this up and play it, like you said, Nick. The Switch gets the most use out of me. That's my like, oh, I gotta take a shit. I'm gonna play my Switch.
Yep.
But unfortunately, shoot 'em ups and all those, you're not beating them in that time. And if you are, you're getting up with your legs falling asleep and that annoying thing.
It's happened.
Yeah,
happens to me regardless anyway. So, oh fuck me. Good. Thank you for the reminder, Brian. All right, so icing on the cake to my drunk pukery and all that, and hugging the toilet all night. So I woke up on Saturday morning, and these last two fingers, ring and pinky, were numb.
Butt?
No,
oh.
These were numb from sitting there drunkenly puking all night. Surprisingly, not at my butt.
Where were they?
I don't know. So
then why were they numb?
I don't know. What part of I don't know do you not understand or remember?
When you woke up, what position were they?
I don't remember. I fucking just remembered the fucking whatever. So, oh, also funny story about how I was sleeping. So, when I passed out, like I found my way back to bed, and I was like, "Fucking shitty hotel room doesn't have any goddamn blankets. Where are my blankets?" So I just kind of laid in the middle of this fucking balls cold room, just like with no blanket on, freezing my dick off all night. So Dan was like. The next morning, he's like, dude, your blanket's right here. Like, I looked over at one point, and I was like, man, he must be hanging his blankets. He's not wearing them. And they were just, like, thrown on the floor. So, God knows what happened there. But, yeah, it's about 4 days later, and these two fingers are still numb. So, I guess it's a little nerve damage or something with whatever I did. I don't know.
Yeah, well, is there any pain going down your arm?
No.
Well, then it's just a little tweak in your tendon.
Upper dorsimus maximus.
Damn it, Jim. I still say you just had them up your butt, and that's why they hurt.
Probably would have been safer for them to be up there. Would have been kept warm at least. Nick giving me the disappointed dad head shake.
I'm just thinking, like, you know what you probably fucking did, dude? You probably went for the toilet and then just lost your balance, dove, and then, like, had your fingers straight on and you collided with the toilet and you jammed them really bad, bud.
Always a real possibility.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very, I don't...
Either that or I slept with them, like, tucked under my, like, left titty or something like that. God only knows.
The gym anatomy of how he moves and operates is a fascinating thing.
Yeah, I get late onset cerebral palsy when I get too drunk. So
damn it, you're not JR.
That's Bell's palsy, Brian. Get it right.
Oh, sorry.
Be respectful.
Yeah, I've been just chugging away, getting more and more footage for future videos I've been releasing, and for fun, I've just been kind of fucking around with Dead by Daylight. I actually haven't touched an Aliens game this week. Jim, I got the sneaking suspicion we're going to be getting Aliens in November.
Yeah, you know what? And actually, my kid actually... So, me and Brian, we signed our kids up for this run up a couple miles away from us. So, it's at like a farm, basically, and, they do a little race, and, it's fun, and they get a medal at the end, crap like that. So, last week, your kids did it. They were sick after. Mine did it on Sunday. Of course, it's raining, and they still don't cancel it. It's the last week.
That was so ridiculous, yeah.
I'm like, why fucking cancel this? So they're out there running in the goddamn rain. So, of course, she wakes up today with a goddamn fever. So now she's sick and's got to stay home all fucking week. So.
Yeah, well, I from my doctors, I mean, obviously you have the same doctors for her, but there is a nasty little fever going around. Like I said, so Logan's on day 4 or 5 of his fever. So it's not been a fun one. So
yeah, I bet. Yeah.
Not fun.
Poor little feller, but fuck, I got distracted. Sorry.
No. So obviously with Harper having a fever, we'll push for everyone watching. I know we've been talking about, we do have Alien games. All I can say is, since we are going to push it to November, there are going to be some Alien games I'm probably going to get coverage for that. Even if it's just me covering it, if Jim can't get to it, we're going to cover a hell of a lot more Alien games than anticipated. because there's so fucking many of them.
Yeah, but it will get pushed in November, but at least we still have my collection videos and Brian's list videos for horror games throughout the rest of October besides the podcast, so you'll get your content.
Oh, yeah, you're definitely... I have many, many, many more of these horror videos coming out, so...
Are you guys going to be covering the most recent one that came out, Fireteam Elite?
Yeah, so I actually just... Oh, thank you for saying that, Nick. I just downloaded that over the weekend. I think the night you were at Too Many Games, I downloaded that. I was like, fuck it, I'll start playing this. I'll save my opinions for the review.
Uh-oh.
I'm glad it's only $40 for it being a new game. I haven't dived in deep enough to decide if it's super fun or not, but it's definitely missing some features that I don't know if $40 is warranted. But once again, I'll put a lot more hours into it and make the decision. But that'll definitely be covered.
Is that a Game Pass one or no?
No.
Damn.
Yeah.
All right.
So, yeah. But speaking of Alien, and obviously the reason why we drove it, it was a Patreon request. So, Jim, what do we have from our Patreons this week?
Patreon.com/DrinkABeerandPlayAGame, where for as little as $2 a month, you can ask a question and we will answer on each and every single one of these Power Hour podcasts. So, first up from Burn Retinas, what is the worst power-up or weapon you've always avoided in a game? A lot of people hate the swirling flamethrower in Contra or the Klob in GoldenEye.
Swirling flamethrower is pretty fucking terrible in Contra. Ooh.
I do tend to hate... Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
All right. I do kind of hate the, like, the flame, like, just the general flame weapon in, like, Ghouls and Ghosts. Because, like, it doesn't, like, go up high at all. And, like, it's cool that it can, like, hit a couple things multiple in a row, but then, like, you can't spam it either. So, if you, like, miss or shit like that, or, you know, it hits a couple things but doesn't kill it in enough, then you're getting hit regardless and losing your armor or getting killed. So, it just always seems to, like, set me up for, like, easy deaths that I shouldn't have.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with the Leaf Man power-up in Mega Man 2, because really, once you get the Blade Man one, you don't need anyone else. But even more so, I still don't even know which other boss the Leaf would be good against. But I tried using it a few times. I remember the pattern sucked on it. It was another, like, circle, and then it shoots it, spreads out. It was completely useless to me. And who the fuck wants a Leaf as a power at the end of the day? So, yeah, never liked that one.
You could be Bulbasaur.
Shut up. He's stupid. Everyone likes
Bulbasaur's
Charizard. How about you, Nick? What do you think's the worst?
I think what comes to mind, and I mean, I don't know where it stands with everyone else, but like I could give a shit about being the like having the frog costume in Mario 3.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
Like it serves one purpose, and it's just when you're in the water, and it's like really like an eighth of the game, maybe. You know?
It's not. Yeah.
Yeah. So
No,
like
it's
that.
Nuki.
Yeah, that one, or what I can also think of too is the speed up power up in Sonic 2. Like I'm already going fast enough. I don't need to go any faster. You know, because like
I never got the speed power up, the speed shoes in Sonic. Like it never seemed like it just made me run too fast at that point.
Yeah, and then like you know what happens? You get fucking reckless. You go too fast. You can't see where you're going, and then you get hit, and you fucking lose all your damn rings.
Mm-hmm. Stupid Sonic.
Hey,
Hey, he's my birthday bud. We were both released in North America June 23rd, 1991.
No, that's a good answer though. Yeah, that's another one I never get. Why give a speedster speed? I don't know.
Yeah.
Nick, did your mom say gotta push fast?
Damn it!
Fuck you, dude.
Damn it!
What?
Damn it!
I was
Jim.
an emergency C-section actually.
Oh, gotta cut fast.
See, he went too fast. Got
Gotta
tangled
go
up.
fast, man.
Yeah, Nick was too fast. Shit.
Oh fuck.
Good question, Burn Retinas, dude. Appreciate it. All right, so we're back with more Patreon questions. Before we move on, I'm sorry, there's an annoying ass cricket behind me. But if you want to make a drinking game, every time you hear it, take a sip. You'll probably be drunk super fast.
We can't have any pregnant pauses now in our discussions because that fucking cricket's just going to be there and it's going to make it sound so much worse.
Jim, it adds a little bit of flavor. So
Oh, that's a little reality, I guess. Fuck. Next up from Game Whisperer Dean. This goddamn the best game, including a paintbrush/paint gun from every decade since the 80s. Jesus fucking Christ.
Oh my gosh.
All right, 90s Lemmings paintball, so that was easy.
God damn it. No, 90s would be Mario Paint.
I'll still go Lemmings paintball.
Yeah, you would, because you're always wrong.
Because I am right.
You could. Everyone loved Mario Paint secretly. Getting a little mouse with the Super NES. Oh wait, you didn't have one. You know, that was a fun ass experience, and you could make the little music with all the little sounds. That was damn fun.
That was a good YouTube hole back in like 2009.
Yeah. But no, I would say that. I don't know what the fuck else is there. Paint. I guess Splatoon, which I've never actually played, is the only other paint themed game. Layers of Fear, maybe? I don't know.
What about Paint? Like on the computer?
Just MS Paint, yeah.
Easy answer. I guess we got to go with that. And yeah, I guess you got to say like what, Okami for the 2000s. So that's like the biggest like actual paintbrush inspired using game. What? It is? That's a fucking loved game. It's been ported every single generation since.
You know what's a good one is Mickey's Epic Adventure.
Oh yeah, Epic Mickey is fucking good.
Or
yeah,
Epic Mickey, yeah.
Yeah, that poor series died a quick death, but yeah, no, that is a good one.
Always with the interesting goddamn questions.
Dean likes to make us sweat a little bit.
He does.
Or we should do research and prep, but, you know, we're not going to do that. So, next up from Funny Montana. Haven't played a Resident Evil game since the original PlayStation and just downloaded RE7.
Wow.
Any tips or advice for a newbie?
I mean, if you download RE7, you could jump into that. I'd probably say do the RE2 remake. That is easy enough to pick up, but that feels like the horror. RE7, the only thing I'd be worried about is like if you haven't played since the original PlayStation, I don't know how this is going to work out for you. Like you might think of Resident Evil a completely different way. Whereas RE2 still feels like a Resident Evil. It just looks better, plays better. So that would probably be my go-to.
Nick?
Yeah. I'm kind of struggling, like, because I agree with you, but at the same time, like, if you want to start with RE7, I mean, it is a good starting point in a sense for like modern day Resident Evil because that brought back horror to the franchise, and it's kind of like, I know it's a continuation or like the new direction they're going, but it's also kind of like a one-off in a sense because it's not related, like. You don't have the familiars, you know, like Chris, Jill, so on and so forth, really, in that game. But at the same time, like, yeah, the remakes are there. Even the GameCube remakes, they're available on modern-day consoles. And those are really good, too.
RE1 remake, that is my favorite. That and the original director's cut for nostalgia. I mean, yeah, that would be probably the easiest transition. If that's all he knows is the original, then go with the RE1 remake. I recant my original statement.
But if they're looking for tips on playing 7, I can't provide any because I beat that game, but I'm a bitch, dude. I'm a fucking bitch. I played it on like the lowest volume. The lights were on in the room. You know, I'm like, nah, fuck this game, dude.
Yeah, I made the mistake.
He had his teddy bear
of blind playing it for the first time on stream in the dark, volume up. So everyone got to see me like fully like mess up time and time again. But that is a really fun game. Biggest tip for that game: take your time, explore. Like at least your first playthrough, appreciate the whole layout and just go through and just really try to play through it. That's all I can say. Fucking cricket.
Cricket counter's already up to like 10.
I know.
Fucking, if anyone's actually making a drinking game, you're going to die. And we take no responsibility under the legal consequences of Pennsylvania. So,
God
next
damn
up.
it, Jim.
What? Next up from Michael Soto. What are your opinions on homebrew games? Lately, I've been buying and collecting physical copies of homebrews. Now, I've mostly gone with Pokemon games, but I also got myself a copy of Dragon Ball Card 64. I've not heard of that. Wondering if you guys have any good experiences with homebrew and any suggestions on what to try next.
I mean, I think buying physical homebrews is silly. I'd say just emulate it or play it, even if you have to buy it online. Because unless you've played it online and you love it enough and you want to buy physical, just like whatever, even if it's a homebrew, like I've played the Castlevania homebrews. There are some really good ones out there that are really challenging. I would not buy a physical copy of those. They're fine enough just to play online. But I am all for the homebrew thing because it's breathing life into systems that otherwise you're going to be limited to the original console.
Mm-hmm.
I know, that fucking cricket. The gym face for the cricket. But no, I mean, I do love it. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you guys even play homebrews?
Yeah, I mean, one awesome creator for homebrews is John Riggs. He makes awesome homebrew games and whatnot. There's the palette swaps and whatever. But I think as far as like buying them, unless it's going to benefit the home brewer like directly, I probably wouldn't buy it. I know there's like another guy here in Arizona. His name's like Evil Jared. He did like a Splatterhouse collection for the Dreamcast, and that was really cool. Went all out for that. So I was going to buy it. He ended up just gifting it to me instead. But I think homebrews deserve some love. Like I said, as long as it would benefit the creator directly, then that's cool. Because I do see like people sell a homebrew of a homebrew, like a repro, and I'm like, well, that's not your game, so I probably wouldn't buy it.
And that's the only weird part I get with homebrews that are just palette swaps is that a little too much infringement for it to be actually sold? If it's a passion project, like the Castlevania one, that is literally it's the castle. It's like all the assets and shit from the original game. So it's like, even though the guy put in time and made it, he didn't create it from scratch. So I'm kind of like, ooh, is that a little bit weird to go directly to him? It's kind of like someone who compiles a retro pie, and already builds in all the ROMs, kind of does the work for you.
Right.
Or, Brian, legally, maybe two wrongs could make a right. Like, if you do a palette swap game of another licensed property, like the Ninja Gaiden swap that became the Deadpool game that came out a couple of years ago that I have in my hands right now. So, yeah, I mean, like, a good idea, though, for a lot of the homebrews, like, I like dabbling in homebrews, is to definitely, most 90% of them, I want to say, like, a good chunk of something that isn't directly on Kickstarter first is probably going to just have a free demo or a free version out there, like a free ROM that you can just download and play it. So, just do that first. If you want to support them after, then go buy it. But I've dabbled in some of the homebrew stuff that's turned into real releases, like our buddies who are making Gelatinous right now and doing their Kickstarter, like I put in for that. Or when Xenocrisis was being kickstarted, I went in on that. So, and that's now been ported to like every goddamn thing. That's been a huge success. So, sometimes it works out and sometimes it really doesn't. So, you gotta be a little careful when you go into the actual money side of it. But, if you know the small dev, throw your money towards them. Like, it can only help out because they do some cool stuff.
Right.
Nah, great question, though. I like you said, it's a tricky one. Just play it. If you like it, yeah, I'm all for supporting the guy creating it.
Yep. And last up, from Gamer Astral, favorite fall/winter beer. I mean, that's going to be an easy one for me. Poor Brian, I can tell he's muting himself now when he isn't talking because he's trying to cut out the cricket. So, Bry's making life a little harder on himself, but he's doing it for you people. So make sure to thank him. But my easy answer is always Mad Elf. Like, that's the gateway drug for a lot of craft beer. Like, that's the one that I showed a lot of my friends back in the day when, there was still just nothing but Coors Light and Rolling Rock going around. I was like, no, you need to try this. Especially, we're at Miller's Air House. This is on tap. You're drinking this right now. So, and never led us wrong. So, anytime you get Mad Elf during the winter months, definitely stock up.
I would actually go with the Weyerbacher Imperial Pumpkin Ale for my fall and Mad Elf for my winter. I can't separate the two. I love them both, and each one is very distinctly different seasons. I feel like too often people merge the two seasons together. For me, there is a clear, like, as soon as Thanksgiving's done, I'm on to winter beers, and Mad Elf is my first beer. Actually, I usually have Mad Elf on Thanksgiving night, so that's where I usually cut it off. But yeah, they're both great choices. What about you, Nick?
Yeah, there's Arizona brewery called Mud Shark, and they put out a really good pumpkin beer called Peaceful Pumpkin. Out of all the pumpkin beers I've had, like, that one is like mind. Like, I love that one. I actually ran through a case yesterday. I tried to save one for today, but
Yeah, things happen.
yeah. Definitely didn't have numb fingers after the night, but yeah.
Then you didn't do it right. God damn it.
But yeah, Mud Shark's Peaceful Pumpkin's pretty good. Christmas beer, I don't just give me some beer.
You don't? Do you have any like winter warmers? Over like I feel like winter warmers.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you get some shit from Sierra Nevada.
Yeah.
But I feel like West Coast doesn't do winter warmers the way a lot of East Coast breweries do.
Yeah, not really. It's not really a thing. Even like when I go to like a Total Wine or something, there's really not a whole lot of that. I guess I would probably just like steer more towards like a stout for Christmas time. Just like a nice bold beer. I like Stone. Stone's pretty good when it comes to stouts. Or
I like the beer, not the owner.
yeah. Or Firewalker, or what is it? Firestone Walker. They do a pretty good stout too. So
Nice.
yeah.
If I could ever recommend for you guys, if you've never tried it for a good Christmas beer, you've probably seen them in beer stores. They're the St. Barnabas. I think it's called ABT 12. They usually come. It's like a monk holding up a beer, smiling, and it usually comes with a specialty glass.
Yeah.
A whole case. They're like triples, doubles, and quads, and they're really strong. I'm talking like, I think the weakest one is 10%. It goes up to 14 or something.
Holy shit.
But they're very good. Like, they taste like you're drinking booze because they warm you as you drink them down. But really, really great wintertime beers. That would be my choice after Mad Elf, I'll say. But yeah, no, great question.
Yep, great question.
Yeah.
And that wraps it up for this week. So once again, thank you to all of our lovely patrons out there. Thank you for getting your questions in. As always, if you sign up, make sure to check out the tiers. Like our good buddy Nuck here, who put in a game request for us a while back when we did Tiny Tank. We can do a game review request of your choice. Or if you want to pay even more money, use us as your billboard. So check it all out. All good stuff there. And thank you once again. We really appreciate it.
Wait, Nick, while we have you here, do you have a question for us?
Oh, yeah. Ooh, okay. Let's see. Question. Okay. Out of all the videos you guys have done, which one was the most pain in the ass to film, edit, whatever?
This is easy. Right? It's the intro. It was the intro to the original intro for the page, I will say.
That was
Now-
a pain in the ass, but it was also fun. So even though, like, because of Jim, and that's usually how it goes.
Jim's drunk. Drunk Jim comes again.
I mean, the fact that we had someone professional there, Jim fucked it up. I got my car hit that day by a 90-year-old woman and her friends. Like, he fucked up that whole day. It was still, like, a fun day to shoot, so I was just more annoyed with him, not so much the process of editing it, because...
At least I was cute.
Yeah. at least I forced to reshoot the pulling you out of bed and throwing the beer at your nuts.
Yeah, you
Even
did
though
each
we
of those
caught
about
it
20
in the
times.
first shot, I was like, no, we're going to keep reshooting this scene just so Jim feels us.
I earned it.
Jim Nut Smacking.
Would you say beer bry for
But see,
editing?
like, even though that was a beast to edit, that once again, it's like when it's fun to edit, it's fun. You know what was honestly probably one of the worst?
Let me guess. A podcast with fucked up audio.
I've had that many times, and I've had situations where for whatever reason it doesn't sync, or halfway through it crashes. Those are annoying. But the most annoying might be Donkey Kong 64 for the sheer number of hours of footage I had. And we couldn't just bring ourselves to review that, so like we were lagging behind on it. The audio, like, I think Jim had a lot of really long run-ons for it, and I just remember like just everything about editing that video. I was like, I just want to be done with this game forever. Like, I legit want to give Jim his $30 so I can take that game to the range and shoot the shit out of it, because I hate the game that much. I truly just despise that game with all my heart. There's been plenty of more difficult videos to edit, I'll say that, but that was the one that I remember felt like that was the first time I made a video game review edit, and I went, "This feels like a fucking chore. I don't want to be doing this." So yeah, that would be mine.
Yeah, everything
Right
around
on.
that one was pretty painful. Yeah, I'm obviously not the main video editor for the page, but for the videos that I've done, probably the most painful one was one of the first I did when I did my doing the playing Sonic the Hedgehog with the Atari 2600 stick.
Oh,
Because that was it wasn't even the fact of doing that part of it, but that was one of the last ones I did with my old laptop, because that's basically the video that killed that laptop. Because like twice during the course of recording the video, it blue screened on me. And then when editing it all together, since it was like an hour-long video, it would take like 8 hours at a time to render. And then like it failed twice. I had to keep it going overnight. Like it felt like the table was sitting on was about to melt. So
jeez.
like that was like way more effort than it was fucking worth. But yeah, that was a whole nightmare scenario right there. Maybe get my new laptop at least. So there's always
No,
that.
Nick, that is a great question, though. Like I said, I think I will afterwards look through and be like, what videos that were really annoying? The beer video was annoying because that's my first, I guess, closest thing to stop motion I'll ever get.
That was definitely some of the most effort you've ever put into a
Moving
video.
the bottles to try to talk like we were, that was a whole thing. But
Yeah.
no, that, like I said, I was having fun doing it because I knew what the end result, even though like 20 people saw it. I was like, God damn it, I put too much effort into it. But it was a lot of fun to shoot, I'll say that. Yeah. No, good
No,
question.
great question though. But yes, now that wraps up the Patreon questions for this week.
All right, back with some new beers. Nick, how are those cervezas treating you?
It's all right. It's like, it's better. I don't know. It's good. It's good.
Now, is it all right because it's all right in general, or because you're not really running it 100% right now?
I kind of question, like, should this be my last one? But I'm like, well, you know what? I'm kind of over yesterday. I'm better now, and yeah.
Well, that's why they call it hair of the dog, because it's not the act of drinking what you drank yesterday to make you feel better and even yourself out. The bullshit people try to spew. It's just you getting drunk again. So
Right,
you're just
yeah.
knowing the pain no matter what. So
Yeah, and it's
I
not
say
an
keep doing
IPA.
it.
I had IPAs like all day yesterday too, so that was like,
Yeah. Ooh, yeah. Well, at least you can say you didn't lose feeling in your fingers from Coors Light.
damn right.
Jim, what would you move on to from your pretzel beer?
No, I'm still rocking this, so I'm on my third one of these.
Oh, nice. Has the salt kicked in at all? Or is it
No.
really just bready and like kind of more like typical Oktoberfest?
It's just like a typical Oktoberfest Marzen style, yeah. I mean, it's good, don't get me wrong, but like I don't see where the Snyder matches in at all with it.
Yeah.
Maybe a slightly more pretzel-y bread.
Yeah. Once I brought up that peaceful pumpkin, I was like, damn it. This
Yeah,
isn't.
now
this,
I want
this
that.
does not match up.
Yeah.
So speaking of pumpkins, I finished my Scarecrow. Very good beer. It's just kind of light on the actual flavor, but because it's 5%, it wasn't bad. Then I moved on to the UFO Journey to Planet Pumpkin, which is 5.9%. This was significantly better, more tasty, just everything. But then I realized, I'm like, all right, I'm taking notes as we're talking, and I also am going to be writing reviews. So I was like, I need to switch over to a beer I don't care about. So good old Miller Lite.
Yeah.
So I won't end up like Jim with my pants down, puking into a toilet tonight.
Well, la-di-da. Burning potential bridges.
Oh, God. I can't wait to talk to other people about that.
Everyone has that one night.
Jim has a lot of
One.
those nights.
Yeah, one. Yeah. Yeah, sure do. That one.
Yep. They
All
didn't
right,
throw any
Chambers.
symbols.
So, Jim.
Not this time.
This
not this
article
time.
you shared has me interested. Well, it was actually shared to us by our buddy Max Marvel, so thank you, Max.
Yep.
But it comes to us from the uk.news.yahoo. I guess it's a UK, not Yahoo. But basically, China is going to ban video games featuring same-sex relationships, effeminate men, and moral choices. Are we shocked? I mean, China already censors its internet, right?
Mm-hmm.
It
Yep.
censors a lot of its media.
Yeah.
I mean, is it really anything that like someone goes, "Oh, shocker," you know, like
Censors its citizens, censors its COVID stats, censors it censors a lot of things. You know.
so it's
Yeah.
like I think I get why you post an article like this. It's for outrage, but you also got to think like anyone reading it in America who's like offended or whatever, they don't share our values. They have a
Yeah.
different cultural system. Like they couldn't even begin to understand like acceptance of any of that stuff. So yeah, it makes sense that China would do that for China.
Yeah, what do you call it? I'm trying to find the the line, but there is a line in the article that basically says that they find like anything promoting like homosexuality or like sissy or like what was the terminology, like sassy effeminate men, something like that.
Okay,
like they
the
were
government said broadcasters must resolutely put an end to sissy men and other abnormal aesthetics on screen.
Oh, here we go. Here's the big one. So here's the one. If you ever want to see a sentence that will tell you the difference in culture between like China's government and like the Western world, I guess. Here, the exact quote: "If regulators can't tell a character's gender immediately, the setting of the characters could be considered problematic, and red flags will be raised." Which is like which is wow. Their version of problematic is way different than the zeitgeist over here.
Here's my question: wouldn't that then rule out all anime?
Possibly.
Like I'm not saying that as a like. Aren't most like I don't watch anime at all, but like
I mean, it all mostly comes from Japan and maybe Korea.
But no, I know that. I'm saying though, like when I look at anime, like all the guys are kind of effeminate, right? Like and
They're pretty cute.
it's very androgynous, is what I'm saying. Like you don't. If I looked at some animes, I actually don't know if the character is boy or girl most of the time. So
yeah, it really depends on
China's,
like it really depends on like what kind of anime you're watching. Like because you watch like Dragon Ball Z, for example, one of the most popular animes ever. You totally can tell what's a guy, what's a girl. But then I do know what you're talking about. Like there's a bunch of other animes out there too that like they're like in the high school settings and whatnot, and you're like, who is who?
What's
you know?
Well, I honestly even think like Final Fantasy, like past a certain or in some of the games, like I see the main character. I'm not being a smartass. I don't know.
Right.
Like I don't care. Like obviously we don't care. But then in China standard, are they gonna block Final Fantasy? Like,
or maybe they like edit it as it comes into the country. Like for anything that's a guy, maybe they just in good Chinese not effeminate faction, you just draw a big throbbing cock on them just to make sure that people know which is which. So there's no better way there's no better way than a big throbbing meat stick to let people know what the gender is, to make sure that you keep your people pure over there.
Jim, you
Isn't
would
that
do
right,
that
Winnie
no
the
matter
Pooh?
what.
Hey, look, just because I do that regardless doesn't
Yeah.
doesn't matter what the gender is. They're getting the cock.
You know. Go ahead.
I was gonna say the only thing I would hope is this opens people's eyes, like how accepting most Western cultures are. Like, realize that is debatably the other or the biggest world power. That's how they still operate. So appreciate the freedoms and the acceptance that we do have here, because you look at shit like that and putting out statements like that is it's crazy. I don't know.
We could always be better, but it could always be a lot worse.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I'm not surprised really at all, but like it just kind of like I think about it, I'm like it just kind of sucks that like the people that live there don't know really like what life is like. You know what I mean? Like they know their life and their hardships and whatnot because like they don't have it easy at all. And to piggyback on Brian's point, there's a lot of people here that like, scream oppression or this or that. And I'm like, it isn't where you might want it to be, but it could be a definite, much worse. And I don't know. First, they limit the gaming time, for the kids there. What is it, like half an hour a day or something?
I think it's down to about an hour. Definitely no more than 3. And it's really dependent on age, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, they couldn't really stop you from doing that if you have like a Sega Genesis. They can't monitor that, or a Game Boy or something. But it's it's just kind of sad. I'm not like, I don't really have any big takes on it other than like I'm not surprised. It's sad, and it kind of should be a little worrisome, in all honesty, because like again, that is probably, like, for being real, like the biggest country with power out there, and we still get all of our stuff from them, and it's just a cause, it's a cause for concern a little bit, that a big influence like that has that ability to do that.
Yeah, fuck China. Now let me check my iPhone real quick.
Jim,
Yeah,
now you
right.
have to make an apology like John Cena. You can't say that.
Hey, you know what? You give me goddamn John Cena money, I will suck the dick of China all you want. All right?
Well,
I do not blame that man one bit.
Well, to Nick's point though, I guess if you grow up over there and things are censored, is it like ignorance is bliss? They don't know no better.
Right.
Like like it's almost like anything. Like I'm not saying they have it better, but I'm saying they don't know any better. So to them, it's not even. They won't even understand the idea of it being a social issue. Like if somebody from the West told them, like, "Hey, that's messed up," they'd be like, "Why?" Like that's just the way it is. So yeah, it would be such a cultural shock to see it the other way that it's it's like but then again, it's like, then who are we to say what's right culturally for them? It's like
Yeah, their culture is their culture. And it is funny too that you say that, because like if you look at a lot of like Chinese accounts, like, you can translate any tweet and shit like that. Like a lot of them are saying, no, it isn't really that bad. Like American media is just making it look worse because like, we're an enemy of them and shit like that. So it's like, it's possible.
We don't
Touche.
we don't share the same. The thing is, we don't share the same values at the end of the day, right? So we're saying, hey, we're doing it right because we want everyone like this. They're saying we want it like that. It's very. No one should be shocked by that shit. I think it will continue to happen for who knows how long. But China's gonna do what China's gonna do.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, on the other side of the coin, if I go to China, I'll be like their fucking model citizen, right? Because they'll look at me and be like, "This is the guy that we want all of our guys to look like."
Yeah.
But values turned around. Like, I just want everyone to be happy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's a good article, Max. Thank you for sending it. But yeah, it's unfortunate that's how it is over there. Oh, Jim, I don't know if this next one is unfortunate or kind of awesome. I wanted to see your guys' take on this.
Because this actually was a suggestion from Nick.
Yeah.
So, you want to talk about this? And I was like, yeah, I would give this a go. So, since we're the horror guys over on YouTube lately, we love us a little horror, love us a little wrestling. So, WWE is partnered with Netflix for a new interactive media experience called Escape the Undertaker. So, links will be below. You can watch the trailer. So, basically what it is the New Day goes to the Undertaker's mansion to basically get the urn to increase the power of positivity. And then it turns into basically not a point and click adventure, but like a choose your own adventure kind of like interactive movie deal.
Right.
Jim, did either of you do the Bandersnatch from Black Mirror?
No, I didn't.
No, I didn't.
Okay, so that was I believe, the first choose your own adventure series or show, and I love that interactivity. Now, I told myself I was going to I'm going to rewatch it multiple times and keep going through it. I didn't do it, but I like that idea, and I was actually shocked more. It's very gimmicky. It's kind of like 3D. Like, now that we all have Netflix or streaming services, I'm shocked more don't do this. What this really brought up in my eyes is, why the hell have they not made a legit good Undertaker horror game? Like, that would be such an easy, that or a Kane or whatever, or even Bray Wyatt, or there's so many characters that they could easily translate into a horror game. Like, just do that. Like, Kane did those horror movies, you could make horror video games, but yeah, I don't know. I think this is goofy fun. I don't know if I'm going to do it. I don't know if this is their official soiree into, this is a Netflix game versus an interactive movie. I love goofy shit like this, so I'm all for it. I think it's just goofy fun.
And I do love me the New Day, so, it Who knows? Maybe I will do is sit down with the daughter and like let us, take our little things. Like I saw one clip that was just goofy as shit, where like the Undertaker like flies in the air and basically like electrocutes them all to death, basically for like a good 40 seconds. I was like, wow, this is going way crazier than I was expecting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I did it. The girlfriend and I, we sat down on a Friday and we were scrolling. And I was like, well, what should we watch? And that was like the first thing I saw, and I was like, well, you want to give this a go, because she watches wrestling too.
Yeah.
And we did a pretty decent run. We only did one. Obviously, there's the New Day, so there's 3, and
right.
They Scooby-Doo that shit, split up, and you can kind of follow along whichever character you want to and whatnot. So I think I personally will go back. I'm pretty positive that there's only one real ending. You know what I mean?
Right.
And whatnot. It was fun. It was kind of hokey, kind of corny. The advertising for it, like the poster, looks awesome.
Is it a poster?
Yeah, that was like on the link.
Oh wait, I put the wrong one. I probably just put the WWE link here with the thing here. Let me look that up.
Yeah, because it makes it look really cool, very like 1980s horror movie looking, and it makes it look a lot scarier than it actually is. I think there was one jump scare that got the both of us.
Oh, okay, shit, that is a cool thing.
Yeah, like the Undertaker's head over the house.
Yeah, I'm texting it to you right now, Brian.
Like I said, I'm definitely for it. I will do it for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Use that. Like, use the goofy characters. Like, go back to, unfortunately, Jim and I have talked about this.
Well, they can't use Bray now, so.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But what I'm saying is, like, back in the day as a kid, you love the kayfabe. You love the idea of, like, are these really characters? Are these whatever?
Mm-hmm.
Now we know because
Twitter,
as Twitter and everything, it's like, oh, they're just real dudes, and he's just a guy who likes motorcycles and drinks and whatever. Like,
yeah,
it's not as fun, but like, go with this. I want to see this for like all types of goofy characters, and I love that idea. I think it's a great idea. So I'm definitely all for it.
He really has magical powers,
and it doesn't overstay its welcome either. Like it's even with.
Yeah, like how long was your run?
I think it was like maybe like half an hour.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
Yeah.
I'm gonna drive the wife crazy tonight after drinking like I have, and she's gonna be like, turn that shit off. I'm like, but the take is gonna get him.
Yeah, and the timer, it's actually really fast when it gives you the decision to make. I think you have less than, I think it's like 5 seconds to make a decision.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you feel the pressure, but it's good. It's unfortunate that that's probably like the best thing WWE's put out in a
long while.
Yeah,
it is unfortunate, but
it was good though. I liked it.
Yeah, I will report back next week after. I'm definitely going to be doing this by next week.
Yeah, I'll sit down with the wifey and do it.
Yeah.
So, speaking of goofy and horror-related and media experiences, boys, we got another new trailer to talk about here, and this came to us from IGN, but it's all over the fucking place. Yep. Resident Evil. We talked about the new movie a couple podcasts ago. Well, we have a full official trailer now. We talked about the the shown off characters and our opinions before. Now they have a real trailer, and boys, I assume everyone here has watched it already.
Mm-hmm.
I've watched it a few times to reanalyze, to catch all the little tidbits.
I'm gonna pull SpongeBob and I'm gonna head out.
Well, here's my deal. Let me start with the pros. Let me do that. So I love that it is clearly, undoubtedly going with the horror route, and it's not action-y like the last. I don't even hate the original Resident Evil series, even though it went complete action movie, crazy, whatever you want to call that. I still like that's a stupid, popcorn, goofy. Like me and the wife watch that, and we're like, all right, they're just silly movies.
The first 3 are a lot of fun. Yeah, I like them.
Even
it's
after
Transformers.
Yeah, exactly. It's like turn your brain off, like nothing horror really. But then this one, like it seems like it's horror right off the bat. I'm like, oh cool. They're even including some of the iconic scenes: the zombie turning his head, the Lisa Trevor. Like the dogs look kind of good from the really small bit I could see. They didn't look overly CGI, which I always appreciate. They threw a lot in there. The zombies look pretty cool, but and I'll say the settings. You know that you have the RPD, you have the mansion, but then going into the negatives. So once again, it confirmed, even though they have costumes, these characters look absolutely nothing like the fucking characters in the game. Not one of them. The closest is maybe Chris. And even Chris is like a slimmed down, like, I don't even know what he is. But
fucking Nick should have been Chris.
well,
Jesus.
I mean, fucking
That Chris can't punch boulders.
you got Leon with like a weird dirty long hair, dirty stash. Like, what the fuck is that? He doesn't look like Leon even a little bit.
Not a ginger.
Leon's not a ginger.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not. He's brown hair, Jim. Goddamn.
Resident Evil 2, he's ginger.
No, he's not. You don't.
Yes, he is.
You can't see color. Claire.
That's right. I am
you know
goddamn
what?
progressive.
Claire kind of. Once again, Claire may kind of look like Claire, but she looks like a 35-year-old Claire, like not a 18-year-old. I'm going off to college Claire. Jill, what the fuck? Did they just throw a dart and say we'll pick this actress? Like it. Nothing about her looks like Jill. Like I said, Chris, okay, clean shaven, white dude, short hair. That's the only thing they did with him. I didn't see Wesker, unless I missed it, and I didn't see Barry.
I think he was there. I don't think there was any Barry. I think
Wesker
Wesker might have been there.
Because there's two guys that like literally almost look the same.
Yeah,
the guy that plays Chris, and then the other dude who's from like Umbrella Academy,
which I thought could have been Wesker.
Is that supposed to be Birkin or?
But it could also be Forrester. It could be a few different characters. Like who knows? Like because what I was also gathering from that is they're gonna do the shitty DC thing and squeeze too much into one movie because I think the bulk of this movie is going to be about Resident Evil 2, and I think there's probably going to be flashbacks to 1 and them going through the mansion. This is just my guess based on it because they favor so much with Claire and Leon, and they're trying to save, like Chris is talking to Claire, and they're going through with Leon, and you see Oswell and all that, and it seems like there's almost like flashbacks to the mansion incident. And they're now dealing with like the current day shit of what happened after the mansion. And dude, like take the Marvel goddamn way. Take your time with these movies. I'm not saying you have to make 22 of them. Make Resident Evil 1. You could even squeeze in some Resident Evil 0 shit, like Rebecca on the train. You don't need the whole
it explains
backstory.
Rebecca. Yeah.
But like just do Resident Evil 1 to the end, then do a Resident Evil 2. Like they're just trying to like get in as much like, oh, remember this moment? I'm going to watch it. I'm going to try to hold out hope. And I don't even care. These actors could do it, could knock it out of the park from an acting ability. I still want my actors to look just a little bit. Like, if Superman came in with a fucking beer gut, I'd still be like, that's a little weird. Like, that wouldn't be... That would take me out of it. And the whole time I'm looking at Jill and Leon, I'm going to be like, this is... I don't know who these are, but they're kind of cool. So...
Yeah, like, I've gotten, I'm sure, a bad image, like, on Twitter, getting into conversations, not arguments, but just conversations about, like, how, to me, casting matters when you're casting to something pre-existing and solidified. You know what I mean?
Chris Pratt.
Yeah. Yeah.
But isn't that for an animated movie, Jim?
Yeah, but it's still going to sound weird.
It's a voice. That I can let go way more than this.
Yeah, like, as soon as the images came out of the actors in costume... Sorry, smashed the spider. As soon as those images came out, I was like,
What is
already,
this?
like, fuck, you're going to fuck this up already? You know, and like, they could knock it out of the park, and it could be a great performance. But, like, my suspension of disbelief is already gone because I think what the company, the studio did was course correct to the extreme from what the original movies did. And, you know, it is kind of controversial to say, but, like, studios nowadays are, you know, making guy characters girls and vice versa, and, you know, white characters black, Asian, whatever, and it's to be inclusive and this and that. But I'm like, this is pre-existing content, and this is a character that's beloved by so many, and these are characters that people have grown up with, and another generation is growing up with and whatnot. And you're just kind of like stirring the pot. Why? Like, leave it the way it is. It was great the way it was. There was nothing wrong with Leon as a character. There was nothing wrong with Jill as a character. Everyone knows. It's like, it would be like making Lara Croft a dude, or you know what I mean? Like,
there's no reason.
Tess Holiday.
Yeah.
It just.
I agree 1,000%, and that is my point. Like, that was my point with Jill. That was my point with Leon. Like, it does seem like they probably had a plan. They're like, it's not diverse enough. We gotta spice it, and like, but why? Like, do it with the characters no one truly cares about. Like, I don't even care. Like, make Barry someone else. I don't care. Like, but the main core cast, you can't fuck with. Like, if you give me Wesker and he's a dark-haired something else guy, I'm going to be like, that's not Wesker. I want to see the glasses. I want to see the cheesy 80s look. Like, I want to see Wesker. That's the source material.
Yeah.
And if you and for the people creating it, if you so want something else, just make it something else. Don't call it Resident Evil. Don't call it whatever.
Right.
I don't get this idea. It messes with it in a way, and too many franchises are doing it.
Yeah.
And like, the only thing I can maybe think of is, like, if you look at the CG, like, the CG looks like dog shit. So it's like, maybe there's just, like, such a low budget for this that, like, they basically had a bunch of actors come in and they basically picked, like, the best 7 that they got. And they're like, all right, I guess you can be this guy. Like, you were the closest that we got to this, and guess you can be this.
Yeah. The dog. I went back and slow-mode when they showed the dog, like, leap out.
In the car?
Yeah, and it literally, dude, it literally looks like the dog from one of the PS1 games during, like, a cinematic.
Yeah.
There was no, like, fur texture on the dog. It looked, like, super smooth and whatever, which was like, okay, cool, because I'm a weird stan for PS1 cutscene graphics, but yeah, and then my thing too is, like, okay, if you're doing Resident Evil and this is the first film, you saw what not to do with the other series, so why are you making that error again by doing 1 and 2 in the same film when the other series did 2 and 3 in the same film, and it was just too much, too cramped, like, I don't know. I'll still see it.
Yeah.
I'll still fucking give it my, movie theater money, but
It's probably going to be too dumb, actiony, and stuff like that. Because, like, you could easily drag out a Resident Evil movie based on one of the stories and just have a lot of slow parts, building suspense and shit like that. But,
right.
People hear, video game movie, and they don't want to hear that or think about that. So
yeah.
Yeah, I don't have high... Like, when I first heard about this movie, I had really high hopes. As soon as we saw those pictures, like I said, there was parts, like, I'm like, oh shit, they got Lisa Trevor. Like, they're throwing in things I was like, I wasn't even expecting.
Where there's little touches, like having Itchy Tasty, like, scratched on the wall and stuff like that. Like, I was like, all right, that's cool. Nice little Easter egg and shit from the game, like, from one of the stories.
But, yeah, I think they'll do fan service in those regards. I think you'll look for the Easter eggs. You'll remember the notes. You'll say, oh, it's that character that they just randomly talked about. But all in all, it'll probably walk away. I'm hoping to just walk away and saying, okay, that was fun. And I don't have hopes beyond that.
Just be better than Mortal Kombat.
Jim,
I don't know,
did
dude.
you
I
actually
love that
watch
movie.
Mortal Kombat?
I haven't watched it yet, but I just heard bad things.
It's not that bad. I was going to say, it's
good.
The character they introduced is stupid because you're like, why do you need to introduce a character when you have all these others? And you have a whole movie without Johnny Cage, which obviously I think we've talked about. But the Sub-Zero Scorpion part was really well done. The Sub-Zero as a villain, like Bihan or whatever, he was great.
Bihan.
Yeah, whatever.
Bihan!
Other than that, like, that movie, I think, gets more hate than it deserves.
All right, maybe I'll actually watch it for once.
Yeah, I actually thought video game movies were on an upward trajectory as of late. I mean, Mortal Kombat pulled in the numbers. They got greenlit the sequel. Sonic did really good. That sequel's coming out.
Sonic was really good. Yeah.
Rampage did really well. And that was like a movie. Like, how do you fucking make that a movie?
Yeah, that
And,
was.
and the reboot of
Drop
Tomb Raider
in
did
the
well.
Yeah, Rock can
Yeah.
resolve. You know what? Make Resident Evil. The Rock can be the tyrant. There you go.
There you go. Yeah.
That'd be pretty good casting.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like, we'll see. It does look really low budget. I hate because I have an eye for like, oh, that's a cheap ass camera they're using.
I just
And
looked. The budget's $40 million.
Oh fuck!
It looks like
off.
that for $40 million.
Well, that's
Oh.
considering
I mean,
what
with all the
big
CGI
budget
they're
goes,
doing,
yeah,
yeah.
that's not much money. So.
Yeah, that's nothing.
Yeah, that kind of explains
so,
it then.
Yeah, it's low budget in the tier of what you would need to make a good Resident Evil. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, you would need this to be at least 100.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I'll hold out hope that maybe something will come from this. I don't know.
We'll see. That's all we can really do is just wait. We
Yeah.
can, guess and judge all we want on the trailer, but like, I mean, it's coming out soon, isn't it?
It's November 24th, I believe.
Yeah.
So
I'll
the
say
end of,
something too. They probably don't have a whole lot of hope for the movie, knowing the fact that they launched the first trailer this close to the film.
yeah, they've probably been cutting like crazy, and they're like,
Marketing has been
It's been nothing.
absent.
No.
Yeah, they probably know what they have, and they're like, okay, well, maybe we can make our money in China or
Somewhere else, yeah.
somewhere else. Yeah.
we'll see. We shall see. Jim, speaking of making your money and maybe losing it, this one from your favorite site, Kotaku.
The hot topic of the gaming Twitter this week. Oh boy.
So, Jim, why don't you you lead us into this one?
All right, Brian. Well, from our good buddies at Kotaku, Metroid Dread is already running on Switch emulators. So only days after the release, the latest entry in Nintendo's classic franchise is running in 4K using an emulator. So basically, this article, it's a short article, so it's an opinion piece. And it basically, by Zach Zwizen? Never say that. And he's basically saying, like, emulators for the Switch is nothing new. Like, it's been out for a while now. And, hello, Cricket. And
He was gone for a while.
he was. I thought the cat actually got him. I saw the cat fucking around back there, and I was like, oh, he did it. He did something useful for once. But, yeah, so there's been a couple Switch emulators for a while. But, yeah, apparently, Metroid Dread's already on there, and it's already running better on the emulators than it does on an actual Switch. And, at its own, probably not the worst article in the world, but it kind of also doesn't steer you away from going out and, just playing this on an emulator. Because, yeah, what's that famous line that everyone's pointing to right now, where it's like, the article isn't blah, 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 blah. Oh, they fucking edited it. They got rid of the line, didn't they? Oh, those tricky little bitches.
What was it, if you had to...
I mean, I could probably look it up real quick, but they had a line in there where basically the last line of the article was like, thank God for pirates because, they keep alive IPs that no one else would be touching or caring about, some kind of deal like that.
Okay.
Basically, like, actively, like, encouraging people to go out. Like, the long and short of it is, like, you can't, anyone saying they aren't, like, actively promoting piracy with this article, but when you read it, you're like, yeah, they're saying, go out and pirate this right now. So they do have an update of yesterday.
Here's one thing they say is there are so many good reasons to be grateful for pirates, emulators, modders, and hackers for doing what so many publishers won't, keeping old games alive. But then they kind of like go on. So yeah, they definitely updated it. So they basically said an earlier version of the story was understood by many readers to be a direct suggestion to illegally download this just released game. We regret this interpretation. Kotaku believes emulation is a vital part of the world of gaming, not least when it comes to game preservation. While not directly encouraging anyone to break the law and download games they have not purchased, we believe our readers are intelligent adults capable of making such choices for themselves, independently of us. So here's my question. And Jim, I don't know if you read more into it. how is it possibly working better on the emulator than the actual, like the hardware itself?
Because it runs at a full 60 frames per second the entire time, and it runs in 4K.
But what is there a reason it doesn't do it on the hardware? Like
because the hardware isn't strong enough to do it.
Yeah,
so I guess with
run 4K.
Yeah, Switch doesn't run 4K. Okay, so
I see what you're saying. Yeah. So on a PC, for some reason I thought you meant running an emulator on your Switch was running it better.
Running it on an emulator.
That was like
PC.
that doesn't make sense at all. But yeah, running it on your PC.
Oh, here I found it real quick.
Because the Switch sucks.
So the original paragraph that they completely tried to yeet off the internet, but the internet never forgets. If you want to play the rest of the Metroid franchise and don't want to shell out large amounts of money on old consoles and games, your best bet is also emulation. As is often the case, Nintendo, like most game publishers, is really bad about maintaining access to their past games, and outside of a few big sellers, thank God for pirates, emulators, modders, and hackers.
I don't disagree with that statement.
I mean, they're not entirely wrong, but here's the thing. If you're going to put a line in, I think the line on its own is probably perfectly fine, as long as somewhere in the article you actively say, but also please remember, this is a brand new released game.
Yeah.
If you want to see more Metroid, please support the official release, and, just remember that it is illegal to emulate games that you don't own, or shit like that. At least put lines like that in there.
Yeah.
To at least try and make it seem like that. So that's where I think they fucked up.
Here's the question, though. Is this more Nintendo's fuck up that they can't even run the game as optimally as other people can on PCs?
No, because consoles can't do it either. PC is a niche market.
Yeah.
For PCs where you want to go for, what do you call it, hardware snobbery. The Switch is what it is.
No, but I'm saying, is this Nintendo's fault, that it's exclusive for the Switch? If it was available, do you think PC people would just buy it and then run it 4K instead?
Well, I mean, Nintendo always keeps their home IPs
but I'm saying that is my point. Other games you always see the PC people always shit on console people all the time. That's nothing new. And they show, oh, you're playing that on PS4 or 5. Look at my PC specs on this. If Nintendo would just open the door like other developers, that might avoid direct emulation right off the get, and people may actually be willing to pay for that shit if they just shared it at least to PCs like Steam or whatever.
Because I guess it just doesn't work though, because then Nintendo ultimately would be like, it doesn't run as good on our system that we put out this game for, but if you play it on PC, it's going to be great. I don't know, it wouldn't do Nintendo as a brand any favors.
You know what? Sony doesn't do that either, though. And Sony has way more powerful hardware.
Yeah. No, I know, but I'm saying, I think...
Are you saying it's Sony's fault that, God of War or, the New Horizon, can't run at, a smooth 60 frames the entire time because they don't put it on PC then? Even if it's on a PS5.
You could say that, but I think, are you going to be able to emulate that game as easily as you could as a simple 2D platformer?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know how the emulators are for PS5 right now.
I'm going to guess they're not that good, Jim.
Probably not right now.
I'm saying if you're releasing a 2D platformer in 2021 and you can't run it at specs that other people can, is it kind of encouraging?
No! How's it encouraging it? It's their IP and it's meant to be played on the one system.
But it's not played optimally, Jim.
Since when are you Johnny Optimal?
Since fuck.
You're only saying it because you fucking hate the Switch and Nintendo.
That's
why.
Yeah, because Nintendos are assholes. I mean, I don't...
They are. I'll say that they're assholes all goddamn day. And look, here's the thing. I think I kind of see what you're trying to move towards. I don't think if it wasn't Kotaku making this article, and if it wasn't in a franchise that Nintendo has largely ignored for the better part of 20 years, I don't think people would have fucking cared as much.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the Mario games and shit like that, people were emulating and running better right off the bat. When the All-Star Collection came out, people were already emulating and playing Mario 64 in 16:9 at 60 frames per second in 4K and shit like that. Mm-hmm. But no one cared because, it's fucking a re-release of Mario 64, a game on a franchise that will never die, on a game that's been re-released 1,000 times. But you're talking about, one of the smaller but more beloved franchises that hasn't been touched for the good part of over a decade. Like, given real love, and people are really trying to push for it. Hey, we want more of this. We have to support this one. And then, the major news articles coming out there and saying, hey, emulate this. And here's why it's better to do it instead of paying for the product that you have.
But that's what I'm saying.
Without putting anything in there to say, hey, please pay for this at the same time as you do it. But they're just saying, hey, no, it's way better. You should just do it this way.
But see, when the way you read it to me, I'm not reading this with a bleeding heart. I go, they're just saying that, hey, emulate all the old games. That's going to be your best bet.
But they're not talking about old games. This is about Metroid Dread.
No, but you said in that one they edited it out. They were talking about the preservation of old games. If you want to play the old Metroid games, it would be better to emulate them.
Right, but that's the last paragraph. The rest of the article is specifically about just emulating Metroid Dread for better specs on the PC.
I mean, they do throw in... I don't know. Is this a call to arms to emulate it? I don't think it was. I think it's just... They're not going... Too often, too many things, I think nowadays, are overly apologetic and overly have to point out the goddamn obvious thing. Like putting on the side of coffees that, hey, warning, coffee's hot. Do you really need to say that? Like, does it need to be said, don't emulate
iced
a
coffee,
new game?
bro. There's iced coffee.
Yeah.
And iced coffee is superior, I gotta say. Special cold.
But what I'm saying is like, do they have to just, for the sake of, like, whatever, do they have to keep writing? Guys, by the way, don't pirate it. It's a new game. They're talking about the fact, the whole article is about people pirating it. And... like any article, they're going to point out the pros and cons of either one. It's not good to pirate a new game. I'm not for that whatsoever. You and I have said, we want them to be at least 2 generations old? Where you're really not taking a chance of digging into the developers' pockets?
Oh, well, yeah, what do you call it? If you're talking about, like, 2 gens old, like, they had their chance to make their money at this point for 99% of the cases, so it doesn't fucking matter. Yeah.
But so it's like, I don't know. If anyone read that and is like, oh, now I need to go friggin' pirate it. Are you the best functioning person anyway? Like, I don't think anyone reading that.
And here, no, actually, no, because here's the thing. Because, like, it's telling you it's out there. There is this follow-up article that basically told you, hey, watch this in action and here's where you can get it, that kind of deal. So, it's kind of a thing where, like, I do believe that, like, even I've said this before about, like, even back in the Dreamcast era, which everyone, like, a lot of people were bringing, like, oh, well, we all forget, pardon me, holy shit. We all forget we killed the Dreamcast. It's like, yeah, I mean, yeah, piracy hurt the Dreamcast, but the people who were going to pirate were going to pirate anyway. Right. And the same thing, I think, applies with this article, where the people who are just going to straight up pirate this on their PC to run it optimally are probably going to do that anyway. So I think the problem for a lot of people is it's putting more eyes on the people that they could do that, but yeah, for the most part, anyone who's going to do this will just do that anyway. They don't need Kotaku to tell them that. I think it's just the idea that it's like, the biggest media or gaming news outlet in the world's basically, putting such an eye on it. I don't know. It just rubs the wrong way. And, like, trust me, like, I know Nintendo's dicks, and, like, you could make an argument that, like, I could probably say it's fucking overpriced. Like, yeah, like, Metroid games, always the replayability, like, is the drawing point for them to get your money's worth out of them. Like, trying to go back, replay them, try to beat your times, discover more shit, all that kind of crap. At the end of the day, it's maybe a 10-hour game. If that. So.
Yeah. Ultimately, I think Nintendo could have avoided this if they just fucking released Metroid Prime 4.
Yes.
No one was asking for another side-scrolling, Metroid game, even though that's like the roots of it. Like, what was it? Samus Returns came out on the 3DS.
Well, Nick.
3DS, yeah.
Nick, let's be honest. Yeah. Nintendo doesn't care about what their fans want. Come on, they're gonna tell you what you want. They're going to say,
I'll say
take
actually,
this game
there's
and
two
suck
camps.
that dick.
There's 2 camps with Metroid fans. There's the ones who like the 2D, and there's the ones who like the Prime games. So, I'll say there's an audience for it.
Yeah, but
and you know what, Jim? That audience is emulating.
Yeah, and at this point, man, like they fucked up. They fucked up by announcing Metroid Prime 4 and then delivering this, and it's like, okay.
I mean, it's
no
also
one was asking for this.
It seems crazy that it is a $60 game, like you just said.
Well, it's fucking.
I know they're never gonna.
Still a $60 game.
I think it's at least a little more warranted with this than a Wii U re-release. Like those are.
That's ridiculous.
Like that's a disgusting price point that they do with that, and people buy it again and again and again.
Jim,
and
would you say in those cases it's okay to emulate? Jim.
Touche. Touche. Hey,
Maybe-
it had its
may-
chance in the Wii U.
Jim, maybe this is the market clapping back at Nintendo for all their bullshit. Maybe those Wii U's pushed them over the edge, and they said, "You know what? No, we're not
What
gonna."
Wii U's pushed them over the edge? No one just
No.
They got back Nintendo by
what
not
you
fucking
just said,
buying
the
it.
re-release of the Wii U games. They're like the re-release at full price. That's crazy. Now we're gonna get you at your new games.
Yeah.
That's retarded, though. Do it with the fucking Wii games and don't buy them. Buy the new game.
Well, you
Buy
do
the
it
game
with
that's
those
been around
too,
forever.
But then you really, what did we say? What's the only way to hit Nintendo, Jim? Hit the
Yes, you hit them
pockets.
with your wallet, obviously.
So as Jim's saying, emulate all new Nintendo games.
Ah!
Because Jim is the one who wrote it for Kotaku.
Shit, I've been found out.
And now we know why his fingers hurt. So, you know.
It's been typing away all weekend instead.
Yep.
Yeah, I burn out my hands fucking trying to put a new graphics card on my computer. So,
I mean, it is fascinating, but the reaction and what you posted, and the link is below. You see the people's reactions. Now, granted, out of context, when they've re-edited it, it doesn't make as much sense. But every
now
some
you have to
of
go digging to see the original stuff. Yeah.
I mean, the top comments are all kind of the same. How dare you say it's, to go pirate it, and basically bitching at people saying, like, if games are too expensive, don't play games on the Switch, da-da-da-da-da.
And look, there's been the argument made by people that's like, guys, like, emulators exist. Like, saying something's running on an emulator already when it's just released and run better is news. And you know what? I think that is a fair point.
Yeah.
That was the point I was trying to get out earlier, was it seems crazy to me that that's a thing. And yeah, we know that we're used to it. Like, maybe Switch users aren't as used to it. I don't know. But, like, PCs do run shit better than consoles all the time. But for a brand new game to be running that much significantly better, hey, yeah, that is kind of news.
Right.
I mean,
what are games developed on? PCs, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. It seems crazy that there's, I guess the way I'm trying to frame it is, the way the game is built is on the specs of the Switch,
Right.
maybe, and the fact that it runs so much better leads me to believe, is there actually specs for a better Switch that was built on that they just haven't released yet? Or, like, is there better hardware that Nintendo has kind of held back from people?
I mean, maybe. But I think that it's probably what Nick said. It's probably just, like, develop like any other game on fucking, big-ass PCs, and then they optimize it for the console it's meant for. So,
Like
that's probably
rendering a
all it
video,
comes down to. Yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting. The reactions don't shock me, but
Now, see, I do think a lot of people are taking it too far,
of
and
course.
they're because we're like 2-3 days out of it now, and they still won't shut the fuck up about it. It's like, all right, we fucking get it. Like, Kotaku bad. Like, how many times have we said this? Like, I get it.
I would also like a realistic. Did you look up, like, did it sell pretty well?
I haven't looked up the numbers yet, but it's only been out for a week, so like, maybe another week or two we'll get those sales numbers finally.
Well, didn't it just come out Friday?
Yeah, it might have just been Friday. I think you're right.
Yeah.
So not even a week.
So it's like, okay, I don't know what they were projecting for it, but if it still sells good, does it really matter? Like,
Yeah, like
do we
I've always
think
been.
this is like millions of copies being emulated, or is it really like a couple thousand of? I don't know.
Yeah, like we've said it before. Like, yeah, I've said it on this fucking show before. Like, I've never blamed piracy for killing anything. Like,
Yeah.
if something's good enough, people are going to flock to it and buy it anyway. So,
Yeah, like I really don't think this is in the end game like hurting Nintendo's financials at all.
No, not at all. So, we would love to hear. Let me hear the comments below. What do you guys think? 'Cause, I mean, let me say as the full disclaimer, since Jim likes to hear it this way, we're not saying it's cool, even though Jim thinks it's okay to pirate new games.
especially ones by Nintendo. Especially that.
But no, let us know what you think. I find it interesting, for sure. I think the article needed to be written. Could it have been worded better? Maybe. But also, grow the fuck up. Like, it didn't tell you, unless it said, here's a link on how you pirate it. then I'd have a
Yeah.
problem with it. Then you're asking for trouble, even if you don't directly write that. But just talking about it and saying, hey, that is actually a better way to play it. It's just telling the truth.
Spitting
Yeah.
facts.
Yeah, I think it is news, like the
Yeah.
one guy said.
Yeah. So let us know what you guys think below. But before we hop off, Nick, first, once again, spit out, where can everyone find you?
So on Twitter, you can find me at BuffNerd. Instagram, you can find me at NerdyNick_91. And then on YouTube at the same name, NerdyNick_91, where I will be diving into gaming, comics, movies, wrestling, fitness, and anything else that's on my mind because it's my channel and I do what I want.
And Bachelor reaction videos.
You know what? Not a bad idea to get some views there.
You know what? I should fucking start a channel like goddamn that. Those things do gangbusters.
Oh yeah, yeah.
At least a
and,
TikTok.
You know, I didn't release a video this past week, and I didn't record anything for this week that we're in right now. I will be recording again on this upcoming Saturday to release next week. I'm not going to dedicate a schedule of when, and I know that hurts me when the YouTube algorithm gods, you know, and whatnot, but at this point, I am doing this for me and for, you know, the viewers, and if I don't feel inspired or have an idea, I'm not going to force a video out because that's just not the way I want to roll. So I put videos out when I put them out for people to watch, and hopefully they get enjoyed.
Nick, can I make a suggestion video?
Yeah.
A how-to guide on how to kill a cricket.
You son of a bitch.
You know what? That works. That I could pull that off because the girlfriend is a head office trainer for a pest control place down here. So maybe I get some tips.
Oh, there you go. See? Already paying dividends.
There we go.
So with that, everyone, we really appreciate you guys sticking around. Be sure, click all the links below for Nick. Support him. Great guy. Love having him on. And
happy to have him back, too.
Yeah, for sure. With
cheers to that.
Have a good night, everyone, and cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers. Y'all are the best hootin' hollering, video game playing, beer drinking, gym nut tapping,
Hate that
keg
part.
chugging, fucking crowd this side of Jim's ass crack on a Tuesday morning.
I'm sorry, Dad.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys.